Karl Marx and the Communist Manifesto. Who was Karl Marx? Karl Marx was a thinker from the 1800s who asked important questions about society. Marx wondered why some people had lots of money and power, while others had very little and had to work long hours just to get by. He believed deeply in fairness and wanted to understand how society became so unequal. Marx questioned how wealth and power were distributed, and he wanted to find ways to make things fair for everyone. His ideas continue to inspire us today because they challenge us to think critically about inequality and how to create a more just society. Marx's vision was for a world where everyone would have equal opportunities to succeed and live fulfilling lives. Karl Marx's questions about wealth, power, and fairness are still relevant today as we strive to build a more equitable future for all. What is the Communist Manifesto? The Communist Manifesto is a book written by Karl Marx and his friend Friedrich Engels. They wrote this book in the 1800s to share their idea about how societies work and why there is often so much inequality. In the Communist Manifesto, Marx and Engels talked about different groups in society called classes. They noticed that there were rich people who owned big businesses and had a lot of money, and there were also workers who did the hard work in factories and farms. They explained how these classes often had different interests. The rich wanted to make more money and keep their power, while the workers wanted fair wages and better conditions. Marx and Engels pointed out that in many societies, the rich often made decisions that helped themselves but hurt the workers. They thought this was unfair and wanted to change it. They believed that everyone should share in the wealth and power more equally. They imagined a society where workers had more say in how things were run and where wealth was shared fairly among everyone. Key ideas of Karl Marx. Karl Marx believed that throughout history, societies have been divided into different classes based on how much money and power people have. He called this class struggle. Marx saw that the rich and powerful often made decisions that benefited themselves but hurt those with less money and power. For example, they might pay workers low wages while keeping more of the profits for themselves. Marx thought this was unfair because it meant that a few people controlled most of the wealth and resources, while many others struggled to make ends meet. He believed that this division into classes created tension and conflict in society. Marx wanted to raise awareness about these inequalities and encourage people to work together to create a more equal and just society. Marx was critical of capitalism, an economic system where few people like business owners and investors own most of the money and resources. In capitalism, workers often have to sell their labor to these owners in exchange for wages. Marx argues that this system made poor people suffer because they didn't always earn enough to live comfortably, even though they worked hard. Marx's ideas about class struggle and his critique of capitalism are important because they challenge us to think about fairness and justice in our own societies. They encourage us to question why some people have more opportunities and resources than others, and what can be done to create a world where everyone's needs are met. What Marx wanted. Karl Marx lived in the 1800s and believed strongly in creating a world where everyone had the same chances to succeed no matter where they came from or how much money their family had. He envisioned a society where everyone would have equal opportunities to go to school, get jobs, and live happy lives. Marx also thought it was crucial for workers to be treated fairly. He believed that workers should be paid enough for the hard work they did and have good working conditions. He wanted workers to have a say in how their workplaces were run and to share in the profits that their work helped create. Marx wanted to change the way businesses and governments operated so that everyone could have a better life. He believed that if workers had more rights and if wealth was shared more equally, society would be happier and fair for everyone. His ideas about equality and workers' rights have inspired movements around the world to fight for better conditions for workers and for a society where everyone has a chance to succeed. Impact of the Communist Manifesto. When Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels wrote the book in the 1800s, their ideas were not widely accepted. Many people disagreed with them. However, as time passed, their ideas began to inspire movements worldwide. These movements aimed to ensure that workers received better rights and that society became fair for everyone. Even though Karl Marx lived a long time ago, his ideas are still relevant today. People continue to study them to understand how societies function and how they can become more just. Marx's ideas are particularly significant in discussions about fair wages for workers, how businesses should treat their employees, and how wealth should be distributed in society. Marx's ideas in the Communist Manifesto continue to influence our understanding of fairness and equality in the world today. They remind us of the ongoing importance of striving for a society where everyone has equal opportunities and rights. Conclusion. In conclusion, Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto because he believed deeply in fairness in society. He wanted everyone, no matter who they were, to have an equal chance to live a good life. Marx's ideas make us think about fairness in our world today. We see how some people have a lot of money and power while others struggle to get by. Marx wanted to change this unequal distribution of wealth and power. His ideas are important because they show us ways to make the world better. They inspire us to work towards fairness and equality for all. People still discuss Marx's ideas because they wanted to find ways to ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to succeed. Karl Marx's ideas in the Communist Manifesto help us understand how to create a more fair and equal world for everyone. They encourage us to think about how we can work together to build a better future. Thank you for listening.